Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Corner. So they told you you need a new furnace or air conditioner. This is a stressful time for anybody, be it a new homeowner that maybe has never had to call anybody before, or maybe you're a seasoned vet that you've replaced multiple systems over your life and time in your home or multiple homes. Either way, it could be stressful for anybody. But it doesn't have to be. There's a few things that you can look at and make sure that you do to make sure that it's a happy, enjoyable experience. Nobody wants to ever have to replace their furnace and air. Nobody wants to just invest that money into their home. But for some reason, even though nobody wants to do it, it still has to happen. These things do have a life expectancy. Maybe you had a service tech come out and look at your furnace and either it can't be repaired, or maybe it's not worth repairing, or maybe it's just a matter of it was recommended by a technician that for reliability, efficiency, and comfort levels, it is time to move forward with a new system. There's a lot of different things involved there, but it doesn't have to be a stressful moment. Nobody wants to have a salesperson of any kind come out to the house and quote them something. I get that, but the sales guys are not necessarily the bad guys. Service techs always joke with the sales guys. There's a lot of inside jokes in the heating and air industry between the sales guys, install guys, and service guys. But really, all in all, the truth is, those sales guys are there to help, just like anybody else. And I will say right off the bat, through all of this video, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm a service tech. I've always been a service tech at heart, no matter what position I've had within a company. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not a salesman. So, I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to give a little bit of advice from a service tech that, works on these things regularly. I see all kinds of different systems every day, and there are a lot of reasons that they need to be replaced. But nobody wants to do that, and nobody wants it to have to come to that point. And they always think that it's an unenjoyable situation. It doesn't have to be. There's several things you need to do to look at it. For one, if you've been told by a service tech that you need to replace your system because of maybe it can't be fixed, or maybe it's not worth fixing, something like that, make sure you trust that service tech. There's a lot of us out there, and there's a lot of different types of service techs. And I'm not saying anyone out there anywhere is trying to do anything wrong, but make sure you use a reliable company that you trust. I always joke about Chuck in the truck. Again, no offense to any guys named Chuck that happen to own a truck. But we don't want to find somebody that is just trying to push furnaces for no reason. But there are certain criteria that your system meets that it should be replaced. If it is getting older, national average life expectancy is in that 15-year mark. If you're getting older than that, then reliability is always there. If you've had to invest a lot of money into it for repairs, or it breaks down on you every year or on a regular basis, and you've had to put a bunch of money into it, it's probably time to move forward. There is no reason to let these things nickel and dime you. You don't want to just keep pumping money into something that isn't ever going to save you anything. So at that point, it's probably time to move forward. But if somebody says it's not worth fixing, make sure you trust that company. Because I run into cases all over the place where people say, "Oh, it's 10 years old, it can't be fixed." That's not necessarily true. But there might be other reasonings behind that. If somebody tells you you need to replace it, ask them why. Ask very specific questions of why it has to be replaced and why you cannot fix it, or why it is not worth fixing. So ask them these questions. Make sure they own up to what they're telling you. Just make sure, with any time you call a heating and air contractor, make sure you call somebody you trust. A lot of people that I deal with, they have used the company that I use for over 30, 40 years. We have a lot of clients like that. So, make sure if you don't have a contractor that you use that's that way, try to find one. We're out there. They're out there all over the place, to where, people are repeat customers and that kind of stuff. The other thing is, if you are getting a new quote, or getting a quote for a new system, I always recommend looking at the option to replacing everything. I know there's a lot of people out there that want to say, "Oh, well, it's just my furnace that quit. The air conditioner's probably okay. I just want to put a furnace in it." In the long run, it's going to save you a lot of money to do the furnace and air conditioner both at the same time. If you have a contractor that is not offering you both pieces of equipment, then there might be a little some red flags raised there, because in the long run, labor wise, because if they put a furnace in, well, if they come back next year and put an air conditioner in, Well, you're going to be paying that labor all over again when they could have just done it all at one time. It is a little more expensive. I understand that. You're buying two pieces of equipment. It's all being installed. There's all kinds of parts, accessories, and all this kind of stuff. But you are so much better off with a full system rather than piecing it out over a few years. Because chances are, if that 15, 20-year-old furnace quit and that air conditioner sitting outside is 20 years old, chances are it could start having some problems too. So it's worth the idea to look at both, because for one, you know, nobody likes this situation, so you don't want to stretch it out over 5 years. You know, okay, well, I'm going to replace the furnace this year, and the next year I'm going to replace the air conditioner, and then the year after that I'm going to replace the duct work, and then I'll have them come back and do some indoor air quality products and stuff like that. You know, why not just take care of it all at once? Be, you know, once and done. And then all you have to do is have regular maintenance on it and everything's lovely. You know, don't stretch it out. If it is a stressful moment for you, get it all done at once. Why not? You know, as far as payments, because I said it is a little more expensive to do all of it, but, you know, most companies offer finance these days. Most quality companies offer finance. You know, furnace and air conditioners, any system that it is, no matter what type of system it is, they're not cheap. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it and lie to you and say, oh, everybody can afford it, it's easy. You know, it's not. It is expensive, but there's good if you're dealing with a good company, they usually offer good financing. There's all kinds of them that you know, 0% interest and, you know, no payments until, you know, all this kind of stuff. It all just depends on what you qualify for. There's all kinds of financing out there to make it easier. And as far as replacing the furnace and the air conditioner both, I always, you know, if you are having a salesperson or a representative of some sort, you can call them whatever you want, representative of some sort that comes out and is giving you a quote for a new system, make sure they're looking at your ductwork. If you have a contractor that is not looking at your ductwork and they have no idea what you have, but they're trying to sell you a furnace and air conditioner, you need to start asking some questions. Because you have to make sure that ductwork matches that furnace and air. You know, everybody says, I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, that ductwork's been there for 40 years and it's done just fine. I don't have any problems. It doesn't work that way. I've got another video out there specifically for ductwork to kind of go into explanation of why a little bit better. But you know, that ductwork that's been there for 40 years, for one, it may not be efficient. It may not be adequate for the system that you're purchasing, because, you know, 40 years ago, you're dealing with a 65, 70%, 120,000 BTU furnace, and maybe now you're dealing with a 96%, 80,000 BTU furnace. You have to make sure that ductwork matches that system. You know, that's very important. And I'm trying to adjust my lighting here. You have to make sure everything matches. So if the contractor's not looking at it, they don't know what you have, you need to ask them some questions. They also need to be looking at everything in the house. Make sure they're doing a load calculation. If they are not doing a load calculation, then they do not know what size of furnace or air conditioner should be in your house. So, you know, make sure you ask them, you know, say, how many BTUs do I need on any given day? You know, if they don't know the answer to that, there might be a problem. I don't care if you say, I've had an 80,000 BTU furnace in my house for 20 years and it's done just fine. That doesn't necessarily mean an 80,000 is what you need. You know, there's not that big of a price jump if you do need another 10,000 or however many thousand BTUs or whatever. Everybody always worries about, I want the smallest furnace because it's cheaper. It doesn't really work that way to an extent. So, you know, make sure you have the right system. You know, the other thing, if, you know, you have a company that you trust and somebody that you have used for years, then you may not need to listen to this part. But I always recommend, you know, if I have somebody come to my house to give me a quote for anything, and I recommend it to our clients sometimes too, as some want to, some don't. But, you know, if I have somebody quote something for me, I always get 3 quotes, unless I have a contractor that I trust. I know exactly what they do every time, each time I've used them. I love everything they do and everything that goes with it. You know, if you have that company that you love and that you trust, then don't worry about getting other quotes. But if you are new to being a homeowner or you're new to picking at a contractor, something like that, get a couple of quotes. See how they compare. See if they're all about the same. You know, recently I just got quotes to roof my house. I'm not a roofer, but I knew a couple different people. Well, I got 3 different quotes. I wanted to see and make sure everybody's prices were within range, or at least within reason. Nobody's prices are going to be exactly dead on, and cheaper is not better. Remember that. Cheaper is not better. I'll get to that in a minute. But one of the big things is you can make sure that everybody is close to the same price, within reason, and you can also make sure that what they're doing is close to the same. Because if you got the Chuck in the truck that came out and said, you know what, I'll just put a furnace in here, that's all you really need, don't worry about the rest. And then you've got some contractor that came in and said, well, we can do a furnace and air conditioner, but they have no idea what your ductwork is. And then you got the third guy that comes out and says, okay, well, your complete system contains a furnace and air conditioner and ductwork upgrades, because your ductwork's a little bit too small, it's also a little dirty, most of it's okay, we can do a few upgrades, do a duct cleaning, everything's cool. That guy probably knows more what he's talking about. You want to make sure they're not trying to upsell you by any means, but if they're offering things that other people aren't, there may be a reason why those other guys aren't offering it. So, I'm not huge on the upselling factor, but at the same time, I want to make sure that everybody is giving you all the options that you need for your best benefit kind of thing. So, there's a lot of different things that go in there. But if you have somebody that you trust, somebody that you know, then this shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. It shouldn't be a stressful moment. That contractor should be making sure you are as comfortable as possible at any point in time in this process. So, just because somebody said that you need a new system, don't stress out. Don't freak out. It's okay. All you got to do is decide what you want. And because all those representatives or salespeople, they should be giving you options. What they should be asking you questions. What efficiency do you want? Is noise a concern? Is efficiency a concern? Is warranties a concern? Whatever. They should be asking all these things. So you should usually have options of some sorts. There's a lot that goes to it. Warranties are another big thing I wanted to make sure, I just about forgot. Whenever somebody is pricing you a new system, go with the best warranties. These things are made by a man, so they're doomed to fail eventually. Somebody told me that a long time ago. I'm a big believer in that. Things break, things quit, things are expensive. So you want to make sure that you have the good warranties to protect you and all that kind of thing. Make sure you're getting like a service contract that comes with it, so that somebody's coming out and doing your maintenance regularly. Make sure you have good warranties. Make sure you're getting the best that you can find as far for the money, as far as efficiencies, full system, all that kind of stuff. So, I just want to try to help out a little bit. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, there was actually a few more things, but the video is getting a little long, and I hate long videos. So I may do another one, but if there's anything else you want to talk about, hit me up in the comments down below. Please make sure you subscribe and share with your friends as often as possible. Go ahead and hit the little bell icon up there at the top. That way you get notifications every time a new video comes out. Thank you and God bless.